Well, I thought it was when I went out there, and it was 47 degrees, and then by the end of practice, it was whatever it was. Yeah. Well, everyone was telling me that October was like this abnormal heat wave. I just felt like felt like August.
Thumbs up in the back. You guys are all set. Thank you. Just good. All right.
All right. Good to see everybody. First of all, I want to congratulate Wes Johnson and our triathlon team. How about that? Like 2 seasons in, and they win the national championship. Pretty special. And so just congratulations to that team and all those athletes, and obviously to the coaching staff, because that is really, really special. Today's always a cool day, Veterans Day. I'm sure everybody in the room either served or had someone they care about that served, and I just want to say thank you to the men and women of service that protect us and keep our country safe every day. I know it's a special day in my family. I have a bunch of people that have served, and so I just want to say thank you to all of them. It's cool here because of the base being close by. We have the cool youth impact program in the summer with our student athletes, and it's kind of focused on fitness and football and academics, and it's like a really cool program that our players are involved with. And so it's obviously a special day to our program and a special day around here. So I just wanted to mention that. And then the last thing I'll say is we've got a big football game Friday night. Houston's coming to town. They're a hot team right now, right? They've won 3 of their last 4. And we need Tucson, we need our fans, our alums, and the students to show up and rock this stadium. And I know everybody's frustrated with where we're at, and we need them to show up anyway. We need to make this thing hard to play in. We need to impact third down. We need to impact the red zone, right, with crowd noise and enthusiasm and juice and energy. So please rally. We need you. Let's get this thing rocking Friday night. That's all I got. See you.
So, taking some time off, what did you guys get accomplished during this bye week?
I thought it was good. It gave us a chance to really get back to some fundamental football, playing good on good, giving all the players a chance to, do a little more individual time, so you kind of get a chance to go back to a little bit of fundamental work. I thought it was really good. And then for our, all 3 phases of our team, it's a great opportunity to get into some self-scout and find out what our tendencies are and what are the things that keep showing up that we like to do and how we become predictable in any way. So there's a lot of hard work. It's also good for recruiting. All of us hit the road. I think that was really, really good to get people out and get them places to, see recruits play, and also to fly the colors around all the areas that we need to fly the colors.
Brian, is there anybody who's been injured and out for a while that you anticipate could be back for this game?
I don't think there's anybody. That's a good question. I don't. We had the injury report this morning before practice. I don't think so.
I mean, is it at a point in the season where if there is somebody who'd been out and they could still be kept under the 4 or below to save eligibility, that would be?
That would be a consideration. Yeah, to not burn someone's red shirt for just 1 or 2 games. That would be a consideration. You know what I mean? Obviously, if they're out of that, but really, we're trying to find anyone right now that can help the team play good football. I mean, that's really simple, but that we're doing that.
Michael, what was your message to the players heading into this final stretch of the season?
How do you want this to feel every day, right? This last stretch of this brotherhood, right? How do you want this to end? And I think that's something that they all lean into heavy. And I think the, attacking the work and finishing this thing the right way is what everybody in the program should be all about right now. We have 3 games left, right? And they're all going to be tough, right? But that's why you play the games, because every day you have a chance to, every game you have a chance to win, and every game you have a chance to not win. So let's put everything we've got into these next 3 weeks, starting with this week and starting with what we're doing right now.
So how do you, take like a 1 week at a time approach, knowing that the players and kind of the difficulties handling the expectations this year and just how the season's been going?
Well, I talk about what you control a lot with the team, you know what I mean? And the simplest things that we control every day is we control our attitude, our body language, our effort, right? And we can't control what's being said in the outside world, all that stuff, but we can control what we're putting into this environment. We can control what we're putting into the work that we're doing, whether that's in the weight room, the classroom, or on the practice field. And really, what choice do you have, right? You want to be a big-time college football player, then that work needs to be big-time, and that effort needs to be extreme.
Are you in a season that has has been kind of a struggle. How do you keep guys who are also going to school engaged and excited for the season?
I think that's one of the challenges. I think that's one of the challenges for everybody, and that's kind of why we talk about what you control, right? Like, can we be focused on the things that give us a chance to play good football and have a chance to win, right? There's no world that we live in where working less or being less intentional gets you the results you want. So how invested can we be in this process? It's always a process of development, right? And those moments of development happen for different players at different times. So right now, we're in the fourth quarter of the season. Let's finish strong.
After looking at film over the last few weeks, what do you think you need to do to improve the run game?
That's a good question. I think hopefully we have a group there that is kind of settling, and that the musical chairs that we've been playing, we can make that more consistent. And then also just what can we do in terms of movements, motions, shifts, things that give us a different presentation, and also hopefully can make the defense talk and communicate and check and have to move.
Your last bye week against Utah, you came out and had some success there. Is there any similarities that you've seen from the team this bye week or anything like that?
I think the big similarity is just how they've come to work. I think that's been a real positive. And I think that's one of those hard things when you're 18 to 23 years old, is just when you're frustrated or when you're disappointed, can you stay on task? Can you still be committed to the cause? Can you still be committed to the guy on your left and your right? If we're going to say the Bear Down Brotherhood is so important, how willing are we going to be to invest in the right things that give us a chance to play well?
Two questions. First, just going back to what you were talking about a little bit, you have to win the next three games for bowl eligibility. Is that something that you guys are talking about, using as a motivator, like that sort of urgency in any way?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's the big picture, like the long-term thing. But I also know if we're looking at that thing 3 weeks from now, we're going to miss the thing that's right in front of us. And what's right in front of us is more important, and that's playing good football Friday night in our stadium against Houston.
And then what stands out to you just about Houston, in terms of, and especially with their quarterback?
Yeah, I think they're hot right now. I think they're playing good football. They obviously had a huge win before their bye week, beating Kansas State. The quarterback is an outstanding player, and he can make the throws, but he's also an incredibly dynamic runner. So that's one of those things that we have to be prepared for. When you watch them on defense, they play hard and they're athletic. We have a ton of respect for Coach Fritz and that staff. Like, those guys have been good everywhere they've been. They've won everywhere they've been. So we know that we've got a big-time football game Friday night.
Brian, what are the benefits to having the bye week right before a shorter game week as opposed to the last time where you played Saturday night and then had to go on the road for a Friday game?
Yeah, I think it's just, you can have a normal work week, right? You can have the normal amount of practices that you would normally have if you were playing on Saturday. I think that's the biggest advantage, right? Obviously the getting a chance to get the work you have to get done, and then also do the stuff internally that we need to continue to work on in terms of self-scout, what we're calling, what we're running, who's playing, who's not, kind of continuously evaluating all those pieces. That extra time gives you some benefit there.
Was Sunday essentially the Monday then? Did you
Correct.
practice yesterday?
We did.
Michael?
Confidence is always a chicken and egg kind of thing.
Sure.
When you're winning, you feel confident, but if you're not winning, it's hard to feel confident. How would you assess the confidence level of the team, considering you're on a losing streak and it wasn't your best performance against UCF last time?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things. The only way you can start to feel confident is by investing in the process and the work. Like, if we want to feel good in the afternoon, let's practice our tails off in the morning, and you'll feel better, right? And I think that consistency of the practice environment and the intention that we bring to that gives you a chance to play with confidence when the game gets here. Because you feel prepared. You're excited to play. You know what to do.
Damien, in fact.
So, Brent, you talk about all these messages to the team, confidence, and otherwise. How can you tell that those messages are sinking in?
By the way they show up, by the way they're handling their business in the classroom. I think that's one of those things that, championship behavior is an all-the-time thing. And if we're not getting that, if we're not doing the easy things right, being on time, going to school, showing up for meals, whatever the things that we're asking of them outside of the practice environment, those are the simplest things, right? And to me, when those things start to waver is when I feel like the messages are not hitting home.
More questions for Coach? Justin?
So just impressions of Dalton Johnson and kind of the newer role that he's been taking on the last couple weeks.
It's really cool. I mean, Dalton's one of those guys. He was one of the, a really important piece that chose to stay, last spring. And he's just a super hardworking guy. He's really starting to find his voice as a leader, because that's one of those things that's challenging when you lose three team captains on one side of the ball, right? Like, who's the voice out there, right? And right now, I think Dalton is absolutely that voice. And, he plays so hard, and it's so important to him. And I think that's something that's really special. And I think that's going to continue to accelerate his development and his ascension as a great player.
And what have you observed just in regards to the communication he has with guys like Trayden and Gunner, even though those guys aren't available?
Yeah. Well, those guys are out at practice every day, and they're in meetings every day, and so I've seen that part of it. And even Jacob today. Jacob was out there, behind the walkthrough, coaching up the linebackers like that, in the secondary. Gunner and Stukes are back there. They're on a crutch, but they're in the way back, and they're talking the guys in the back end through what's happening. And so it's really special when you have leadership that's willing to do that. And so that communication with Dalton has been consistent, and it's ongoing.
Brian? For those three, I'm assuming all three of them have had their surgery by now. Is there a timeline on when they would be able to return, assuming eligibility-wise and all that?
Not determined yet. Yeah. They're still pretty fresh. Yeah.
Last question to Jason.
With all the looking at personnel and everything during the bye week, are there guys that maybe haven't played as much and you say to them, okay, get ready this week, you're going to kind of see an expanded role?
I think the easiest one there might be some new faces in the kicking game. I think would be the easiest one. I think you see Jabari Mann might play a little bit more. He's still kind of in the redshirt window, but he's got games to play. He's a guy that's coming back to us. I got that question earlier. And Brandon Craddock is back with us now. So he's come back from his situation. Those are the two I can think of. But there'll be a couple guys sprinkled in like that. And it's great. They're excited to play. They want to show what they can do. And we're excited to see what they can do.
All right, that's our time.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.